Welcome back to the Press Club. This is our last segment, and just a couple of things to bring up that happened the past week, or something that's happening this week. First of all, the staff of the courthouse, we are told, they're considering industrial action, some form of industrial action to protest the conditions of the courthouse, which is an ongoing phenomenon.
For years, maybe decades.
Man, they've been crying and crying and crying. So, after the crapping last week, I think the minister...
As if things weren't bad enough in there already.
Yes. As if things were not crappy enough, you know, to have to come to work and face that situation. So, I think the minister was indicating that he got some word that they're planning that. And everybody should have a place of work where they're comfortable. That's where you spend the most part of your life, apart from sleeping, those of us who, or you who go to bed early. But consider it, you're there 8 hours a day, every day, or 5 days a week at least. Sometimes you work overtime. And if the conditions are not conducive to work, how effective can you be in your job?
This is one of the things that gets to me about St. Lucia is last year around this time when we were discussing moving the Ministry of Tourism and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to plush new headquarters because it was so much better for doing business and everything. And when you looked at the state these people were working in, it wasn't bad. It wasn't really bad. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But they needed to move to plush new quarters. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, one of the most important day-to-day operations in St. Lucia remains in a state of total disrepair, and pressure is on those people all the time to improve performance, to do better, to improve customer service, and look at what they're working with. Mm-hmm. Look at what they're working with. The staff have protested before. Lawyers have protested. Mm-hmm. Lawyers don't protest anything. Problems are good for lawyers, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Lawyers don't protest. Lawyers actually stood up outside the courthouse protesting conditions in that place.
And they're not in the courthouse every day.
Right.
You know,
much less for the staff.
Exactly. You know, so it's a situation that needs to be addressed and be addressed very urgently. And if this is not done, then the government or that ministry will be in some problems, you know, to have to deal with.
Well, I wonder sometimes because maybe when the crap is hitting the fan, when people go on strike for things like that, the ministers of government, the permanent secretaries, etc., they don't have cases in court waiting to be called, so they're not actually literally personally feeling pressure from this thing. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the people who are paying the consequences are lawyers, are the staff, are people who have cases in court.
Are those who are on remand at Bordelais and who have not had their cases heard for
people waiting for
years,
papers to be processed, you know? land deals or whatever it is that they're
mortgages
doing. Mortgages. So we're going to get to that, Clinton.
Yeah, some other day. But we will talk about
this is a highly depressing note to end this show on. We do so well sometimes. We're just going to depress people at the end of this show.
Well, let's uplift them. Let's talk about this story happening next week or this week. Is it
last Saturday? I know what you're talking about. It happened last Saturday.
Davina Lee?
The Davina Lee.
She has this
Davina Lee launch.
Movie, full-length movie, The Coming of Org. And my good friend Jason is featured in the movie. Who do you play in that movie?
I play a guy called Tiso who has at the beginning of the movie, he has a little problem with womanizing, and he has a huge ego. Everything is, the movie starts off with Tiso getting up from bed with one woman and walking out and going and make a pass at another woman immediately.
Are you playing yourself in that movie?
I'm playing a guy that I used to be. I'm a good married man, Clinton.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Let nobody say otherwise.
You can be guaranteed my wife ain't watching this show.
No, but great things happening. Davina Lee, she put some music videos together, and she has been working on that. Now she has this full-length movie. And it
launched in Barbados last weekend at the Barbados Film Festival.
And it's ironic that St. Lucian has to go out of the island to launch a movie because we do not have the structures in place to accommodate such talent.
Well, we're so busy doing a jazz festival that we can't see that St. Lucia has actually been producing an increasingly good quality of movies for the last few years, that maybe we should do a film festival. You know, and we've missed the boat on a couple of things. Like I think we actually had the chance to do a Quail Festival before Dominica did, and we're still in the market. I mean, everybody has. If you do a good film festival, it can take off. But we'll see.
I mean, it can work here because you're giving them St. Lucia.
Yes.
It's a fantastic destination, and you're giving them a film festival to go along with that. I mean, if you marry these two and you capitalize on those synergies, then we can go very far with that. But people are not exploring it. Probably it would have to take some private interests to push this forward.
Well, I think from Davina's point of view, it matters not, because she intends to go very far, whether there's a film festival here or not, no matter what happens in St. Lucia. Her whole aim in making this movie, she wanted to make sure that the production values were high enough. She made sure that the screenwriting was good enough and the acting was good enough that she can take her movie outside of St. Lucia without it being looked at as some little St. Lucian movie. You understand that a lot of St. Lucian movies so far have fallen victim to that. They don't have the production values, they don't have the scripting or the acting. But she was she has her eye on the Cannes Film Festival. That's what she was aiming for, to be able to produce a really excellent independent film that she can take out there and that it's great enough that maybe she can get an international distributor.
I'm rooting for you, Davina. I think she has enormous talent. I think she's one of the solutions that we have to look forward to. And there are other people who are doing some good work. You know, they're starting with music videos, and these are mini films.
That's what they are.
Yeah. Mini films. You know, 5 minutes, and you put those production values together, and you tell that story in a music video, and from there you expand. But it costs a lot. Being in that industry, I know that it costs a lot to produce these films.
Well, one of the things maybe that it doesn't matter what it costs, whether it's actually costing a lot or not. One of the most important things you can do. Okay, one of the most important things about this film industry that's coming out in St. Lucia, that's this movie industry that's developing in St. Lucia, is that people are more and more using their creativity to produce an international standard product. That the way we go about trying to sell buy local when it comes to food, in the information industry, more and more we're realizing, like, don't make stuff to sell locally. Make stuff that sells internationally, and the locals will buy it. Make stuff of an international standard. No matter what kind of budget you have, you can shoot something, you can design it in such a way that it is palatable, it's consumable by an international market.
And it's all a matter of the value that you put on yourself and your profession or your product, because you know some people, they have skill, but they are content to produce things that are substandard,
things that are splashed up against the courthouse wall.
I did not want to go that far, but yes, you're right about that. But I'm very happy for Davina, and I will encourage her to continue doing what she does. I'm looking forward to seeing that film.
So am I, actually.
You have not seen it?
No, I'm in it. And
you have not seen it? Oh,
well, how would I see it? I've been so busy doing it that the movie was only really finished, the first edit of it only really finished last week. And so it debuted in Barbados. And Davina is such a perfectionist that this week, after the debut, she's back in the editing room doing little things to make sure that she has the kind of product that St. Lucia can be proud of when this thing comes out. I think a lot of people, there's a Facebook page for this movie, The Coming of Og, and a lot of people have been commenting that when they see the clips from the film, that they're really rather surprised at how good it is.
I'm looking forward to seeing it. I want to see it, and I want to have a critical review of that film when it actually
Remind me
comes out.
Not to be anywhere around you when you're doing that critical review.
Of course, I'll start with you. I say, this guy with the long locks, I mean, he's such a terrible actor. I mean, he can't even act an act. You know?
He can't even act like an actor.
He's that lousy. No, but I'm sure that it's something that I've seen you in a couple of ads, and you've done pretty well.
Well, those are not my best work either. I think maybe if you've actually seen me on stage acting
I've
in the
seen you
theater,
on stage as well.
that's much more my line.
But stage acting, theater acting, and film acting. These are two different, and I think
Film acting is really so much easier. The hardest part of film acting is while they're setting up everything to stay in the character. Because the moment of shooting is so much, you have to remember 3 lines at a time, where when you're on stage in a theater, you have to remember all the lines.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Well, we're looking forward to that, and we're looking forward to other stories that will happen next week. We know that more debate will take place on the VAT. We know that we'll hear more about that underage drinking, because as you said, Jen Moon will not be letting
We're
that
not
go.
letting go that one.
And I'm sure that we'll have other discussions where we
So
will
it's
be.
really sure that somebody's going to do some crap.
Yeah, of course, you know, that's the nature of man and nature of life. So look forward to it for next week on the Press Club. Until the next time, we want to thank you for joining us. On behalf of Jason Sifley, editor of Jen Moon Magazine, pick up your copy. This is an old edition, but the production value in this is excellent from what I've seen. And the rest of our team here on the Press Club, I'm Clinton Reynolds. Remember, I'm back here on Wednesday for Newsmaker Live, so join me here 8:30 Wednesday night for Newsmaker Live, where we'll have another discussion on a particular topic for the week. Well, we thank you again for being part of this program, and we invite you to continue watching the Press Club every Sunday from 8 o'clock. Until next time, Clinton Reynolds saying so long.
Yeah, you're going to keep this one.